I hope all of you can look at my screen and it's quite visible. Okay. Thank you very much, all of you, for being here. I know it's only 40 minutes, which is not enough time, because how to generate opportunities for entrepreneurial growth is a kind of subject which is more practical rather than theory oriented. We usually do it in a 3 days masterclass or 2 days masterclass, or at least 1 day masterclass with the specific organizations when we know the specific issues and problems of those organizations and circumstances. But as it's a blanket program, there are people, I'm sure, from smaller companies, medium and large businesses, and there must be some potential entrepreneurs here in this audience as well. So I will try to touch base with a number of things which I have brought for you. Usually we do this how to generate opportunities with practical hands-on approach, where we do a lot of exercises and activities, and then some activities where you have to use your brain and analytical skills. But I am aware of the constraints that it will be very one-sided discussion, because I will be talking to you for 40 minutes. So I will try my best. Now, you know, the importance of generating opportunities for entrepreneurial growth is very important. This is very important, because most of the businesses, whether they are small or medium or large, they usually go through a sinusoidal curve, which means that yes, they start, they exist, and they find some customers based on their market or product, and they want to continue growing. They want to develop, they want to raise their revenue and profits. Ideally, they want this situation, but this doesn't happen. Most of the times, the typical life cycle of a business is that they go downhill. They want to go uphill, but eventually they go downhill. And one thing which is very important and which can keep them going towards uphill is coming up with new ideas. And those ideas then can generate opportunities as well, opportunities for growth, opportunities for raising profits, and there are other financial aspects as well. So what happens that usually when businesses grow, businesses want to grow, they stagnate. And then they need opportunities, which is a favorable set of circumstances that create a need for new products, services, or businesses. Now, one thing which is very important, that opportunity and opportunity gaps are two different things altogether. Opportunity gaps are always there. A gap between what is currently on the market and the possibility for a new or significantly improved product, service, or business is already there, always there. But opportunity is a set of circumstances, a favorable set of circumstances which you have to generate. You can spot it, you can seek for it, and then you can create it. All these three things basically then comes to generating opportunities. And we will see today that how we can actively generate opportunities, not just sitting and waiting for it. Yes, if you go through the literature, you will find out that people have talked a lot about spotting opportunities. When you acquire a knowledge of various strategies, you will be able to spot opportunities by recognizing the right commercial ingredients when you see them in your environment. But opportunity generation is more than just spotting opportunities. It's actively seeking them and creating them. Let's see how we can do that. And this is when we were talking about the difference between opportunity gap and opportunities. Those opportunity gaps basically try to create ideas. And ideas are much more than the opportunities, because you come across a number of ideas, and then maybe one or two ideas can be converted into opportunities for businesses. You identify more ideas, than opportunities. So the important thing is the opportunity, which means that you have created a new business, products, process, or something which is unique, which is different from others. So how can you generate opportunities? There are three different sources: external sources, internal sources, and psychological strategies. One thing is very important, that if you have looked at the first slide, I started it with the power of ideas, which means that generating opportunities is not enough. In addition to generating opportunities, you have to enhance those opportunities and you have to evaluate those opportunities as well. And I'm not going to discuss evaluating opportunities and enhancing opportunities today because of the time limit. We will only talk about the external sources, internal sources, and psychological strategies. This will help you in finding the process, that how do you do it. Let's start with the first one, external sources. Now, you know that external sources of opportunities can be defined as some place, event, observation that exists, occur outside the company or organization. In other words, the information that you convert into an opportunity comes from anywhere other than inside your organization. Whereas an internal source of opportunity is obtained from using information available inside your company. So let's talk about external sources first. And those external sources are then divided into three different categories. The first one is outside observation-led opportunity sources. So it is the opportunity which you see through your observations. The second one is problem-led, and the third one is solution-led. So first we will talk about the outside observation-led opportunity sources. The first thing in this one is unexpected outside event. For example, a surprise scenario occurs. Something completely unexpected should alert you to the possibility of there being an opportunity. And one of the main example is that whenever something happens outside, you have to use this method simply by asking some of the questions like, what has happened recently? And raise my eyebrows. What unexpected event has happened in the world, in your country, in your city, or in the local news? What is there in trade journals or other written sources? You can ask yourself that what has startled me about other companies. So you have to ask questions like when, who, how, why, and where. So this will generate some opportunities because you will observe it from outside. You can also look at the industry or market structure changes because the realization of an opportunity always causes market or structure changes, and more opportunities are always present when these changes occur. There are 4 pointers for that either there can be rapid growth or rapid growth of the market, rapid growth of the industry. So it can tell you that something is happening. So there is some room for myself as well. Sometimes people have done inappropriate market segmentation. So you can also take use of that. Or sometimes convergence of technologies. In industry, different companies are already working on it. They combine different technologies, and mobile phone is one of the prime examples of that. So whenever there is something happening, yes, you can also combine those technologies over some other technologies. Or there could be changes in methods. For example, when the mass production of cars was introduced, almost 100 years ago. Ford eventually capitalized on the change in manufacturing method. But Rolls-Royce also capitalized too, but in a different way. They said, okay, if Ford is going into mass production, we'll keep our method. We will only manufacture a quality product for some special people, and handmade cars of superior quality was what they were working on, and that's what they did. So in industrial market structure changes, there are 4 things. The first one is rapid growth, inappropriate market segmentation, convergence of technologies, and changes in method. But observations can also be done by looking at the demographics. There is always profit in watching people and population changes. Changes in such factors such as birth rate, family size, mortality rate, quality of health, longevity, education levels, location, people's mobility. In addition to it, labor force composition, wealth spread patterns, typical consumption cycles from birth to death of individuals. So all these things basically can help you in generating opportunities. So you have to look at it, that what demographic changes can you foresee? What will happen in your country, in your location, or in the area where you work? Which businesses will be affected by these changes? Who will prosper? Who will suffer? You can also ask that how can profit from the sufferers or beneficiaries can be made by your company? And you can also look at it that what are the knock-off effects of these changes? And you have to ask that how can you, and then you think about it, that how can you utilize these demographics? Another thing which is very important is political pointers. Changes brought about by politicians or governments, or even the proposals for change, can open opportunities for your businesses. You have to ask that what is a significant political change of the moment, and what it can bring for you. What needs to be provided if that political change occurs? I would also like to talk about the economics and social changes. For example, you know that almost 40 or 50 years ago here in the European Union, or 60 years ago, men used to go to work and women used to stay at home. And when men used to come back from work, they had their meals ready by their wives or girlfriend. But things have changed after the war, and things are changing in different parts of the world as well. So more and more women are going towards work, and so there's nobody to cook at home. At 5 o'clock, a man comes home and a woman comes home, and both of them are hungry. But at the same time, they're tired as well. They don't want to cook. So there comes the opportunity for maybe cooked food. So in countries like in Gulf countries or in Asian countries or developing countries, it's easier to find a maid. So maid will cook for you. But in European countries or in North America, where it's difficult or it's costly to have a maid, there is an opportunity for restaurants or takeaways or frozen food. If you go to any supermarket, you will see aisles of frozen food now. So economic, social, and political pointers also give you some hints that what can be done in a different manner. Then the next one is changing in perceptions. Most aspects of life can be seen from many different point of views. Frequently, whole industries are changed very rapidly because of the way the people change their view on something. And that brings, again, some opportunities. You have to ask yourself that what changes in perception can you see. Go through the main industry sectors. One of the ways to find it, that if you go on online newspapers now, you read the news, and then you can see that people have commented in the footer. And those comments will open your eyes, because people are thinking differently. People have different points of views. If you go through them, you say, oh, so people can think this way as well, because I have never thought about it in this particular way. And that's where you can identify any changes which might happen in the market. You can see that those changes in perceptions are usually prompted by trendsetters, celebrities, the players, what they are doing. If you look at it, you will see that people change their perceptions as well. So you have to look into media, and media is playing a huge role in changing those perceptions. Variable value is another thing, and the value of everything and anything varies over time, over location, over use, and over ownership. For example, a standard card bought in the last century had no special value, but now in the same condition, if that car is available in the same condition after 80 years or 85 years, its value is enormous. It's an antique item which will be sold at a very high price. So you have to look at the variable value of elements as well. Then there are certain trends. And many trends have developed recently because of the influx of information technologies. Our air travel, our increase in leisure pursuits, leisure times, all these things have changed. There are certain trends, and those trends are different for different countries, different societies. So you have to look into it, that what are those trends? What trends are taking place right now? In which areas my company can best suited to look for trends? You have to find out that what can you find out about trends? What vacuum is being left behind in a trend towards something? And that vacuum will generate opportunities for you. But in addition to trends, there are certain fads as well. And fads are for just some time. For example, 20, 30 years ago, there were fads of hula hoops or pogo sticks or skateboards or frisbees and Rubik cubes. These were just fads. People were crazy about those things, and people who were selling those things, they made millions out of it. And people who introduced certain products which were related to these fads, they also made millions from these. So you have to be on the lookout when you are looking outside, that what are those fads as well. Another thing is called convention bucking. Convention bucking is basically that people like to rebel against all sort of things. In 1920s, Coco Chanel gave women the means to rebel against Victorian prudishness by introducing and marketing loud makeup. And makeup became the product vehicle for bucking Victorian conventions. So in every society, in every country, there are certain conventions, certain traditions, and there are people who want to rebut those conventions. They want to buck those conventions. But you have to remember that before you can buck a convention, you need to identify it. What conventions would you like to buck? What do you feel oppressed by? What product vehicle would allow you to buck a convention off your back? So all these questions you have to ask. Once you are able to do that, you are in a position to introduce something new, something different, something unique, which will have some entrepreneurial value. Hypocrisy in opportunities. And whether we accept it or not, the modern norms and values, though they contradict with hypocrisy, but most of us are hypocrites. And occasionally the sense of hypocrisy goes too far, and it can spark an opportunity. One of the examples which I usually give in my classes is that in 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, movie makers, they were tycoons. They were widely thought to be more inclined to use a casting couch as a selector of actors and actresses. But they were not showing it on the screen. They were afraid of it because the society was not accepting it. And Hugh Hefner, the president of Playboy magazine, he noted and chose to act on this observation, and he made a fortune by setting up and publishing Playboy. I'm not saying that we are not being judgmental here, whether this is a good thing or not, but yes, there are certain hypocrisy opportunities, and you can turn it around as well. Then after this are market analysis strategies, and yes, we are not talking about marketing in detail, but you know that you look at the market size, you also look at the competitive analysis, you do existing marketing research, you look at the new market research, and then there is specialty marketing as well. So all these marketing strategies, when you observe the market based on these marketing strategies, you find out certain opportunities as well. And then comes the challenge, the status quo, that how things have been being done for the last few years or centuries. And if you are able to do them in a different manner, there are opportunities for you as well. Then people go for niches. And niches are something where you find out some small opportunity. It can be a toll gate strategy when you put yourself in a position where everyone who wants to buy a particular product has to buy your part of the overall package. And the example are Windows and Intel processing chips. People are buying computers, but as they have to buy your product as part of it. This is called toll gate strategy. So you can look at toll gate strategy and say, okay, if I am able to find some product which everybody is buying, and if I can make something, a small element of that, then I can ride the wave and I can make a lot of money. There can be specialty skills. You become so specialized and so expert in the practice of your art that you effectively carve out a niche for yourself. There can be specialty market as well, to carve out niche in a specialty market, and you can use your knowledge and market yourself. Or you can also go for location strategy. That is also a niche. That you start selling halal meat or a kosher meal where Muslims or Jews live. This is a classic example. So you go through different niche strategies, and then definitely there are calendar opportunities where people are buying certain kind of products, and you can see that yes, I can go and I can find out that what opportunities I can create. So these are just a few methods. Now, when we do 1 day or 2 day course, and that's what we will be doing in Palm 7 as well, that we will go through these strategies, these sources one by one, and we will apply certain methods, certain techniques, certain activities in which people who will be sitting in those programs, they will do it hands-on. I know that it sounds very much one-sided, and I also feel it that I'm just conveying you information, but I'm not imparting knowledge to you. The knowledge is when we interact with each other and we do certain exercises. We do it in actual on your products or your industry in which you are or you want to go. So we are doing it in Palm 7, which is the program organized by the Madinah Institute for Leadership and Entrepreneurship in April. We are doing a session on corporate entrepreneurship where we are going to spend almost one whole day on how you can generate opportunities in larger organizations, how you can create more opportunities, how you can spot opportunities, create opportunities, and then make your businesses grow in an exponential manner rather than an incremental manner. We have just talked about the external sources, and if in external sources we have just touched on the first category. The second category is problem-led opportunity sources. You know, there are certain mismatches. It can be process or method mismatch, assumption reality mismatch, customer provider value mismatch, economic mismatch, affordability mismatch. Now, what is a mismatch? It is a situation in which there is a lack of harmony or a discordance of some kind. And these 5 mismatches I can just share with you. We cannot go in detail because I only have 10 minutes and I have just started my subject. So these mismatches, basically when you look at those mismatches, you can see that yes, there are certain opportunities because people are not getting what they need. Then there is something called opportunity sensitive area. And an opportunity sensitive area is, it can be defined as by the presence of such feelings such as, that's outrageous. You look at a product or service and you say, we must be able to do better than that. Or you say, what a waste. It doesn't need to be that way. And these are the moments. Then you can see that there is an opportunity. These are sensitive areas. People don't like something. And what is better? What can they like? What else is there? What else can be done in a better manner? That is opportunity sensitive areas. Then there are process needs. You can choose a specific process going on within an industry or business for a number of years and ask yourself, what need is being fulfilled and what is missing in the process that is seeking to fulfill? How can the process be improved, revolutionized, or avoided? So you have to ask those questions when you are looking at a process. And then comes the classic needs analysis, and a number of people have talked about Maslow's hierarchy, that you have to look at the physiological needs and safety needs and belonging needs, esteem needs, intellectual needs, and self-actualization needs. These are the 7 processes or 7 tiers of Maslow's hierarchy. So what should be done is that you look at the need of different needs of people, starting from physiological and going towards self-actualization, and ask yourself, in what way is that need being currently satisfied? Is it being totally satisfied? How can that need be satisfied in other better ways? How many different ways can you devise to satisfy that particular need? And all those ways can then generate opportunities for you. Hello? Ali?
Yes, Dr. Roomi, somehow.
Can you hear me, Ali?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you. Is everything okay? Because there was something on my screen and it prompted me that I have to stop.
Yeah, because it looks like
when ships are on the ports not working, it costs them money. And the reason was there were time and delays spent in loading and stowing in those expensive ports. And that was a mismatch between the assumption. Their assumption was that the ships should go faster. And the reality was that most of the time and effort were being consumed at the ports. So if somebody is able to find that assumption and reality mismatch, and if he is the first one to find it, there is an opportunity that they can generate opportunities. The other one is customer-provider value mismatch, which is that there is certain arrogance, especially with people who are making a lot of money, the organizations. And if there is an arrogance in the industry, I'm certainly sure that you can find out that there is an attitude issue, and that attitude issue can create opportunities for you, because if there is an arrogance, people or customers will be unsatisfied. That unsatisfaction will then basically help you to find out that which service or product is not quite which the client is looking for. And you can also look at other businesses and industries, and you can notice the efforts of management, that what they are not providing what customer want, and that is called mismatch. And that's where the gap is, and you can work on it. There are some economic mismatches as well, where you are providing something in the market where people cannot buy it, or people are at higher end and you are providing something at lower end. And then there are affordability mismatches as well. So mismatches are of different kind, and it all depends that what kind of product or service you are offering, and the mismatch will be according to that. Ali?
Okay, sir. Thank you. Let us go. A caller has raised his hand. Let me see. There's Brother Niaz Hussain. Brother Niaz Hussain, could you please introduce yourself and ask the question? Hello, Niaz Hussain. Can you hear us? Okay, I believe we have an audio issue with the caller. So let me move to the question box. We have a short question from Mr. Mark Stora. The question is, what can one do to become an innovator to create opportunities?
You know that we could not talk about it in detail. The only thing which we have seen so far, or you have noticed so far, that I talked about the external sources. Then comes the external sources, that you have to look at your external sources and then internal sources. And after that comes psychological strategies. And those are very important. Psychological strategies, I particularly think that psychological strategies are the things which makes you a real innovator. And not necessarily you have to become a technology innovator. You can be a non-technology innovator as well, such as Michael Dell, who just changed the process innovation. Supply chain was changed. So psychological strategies are the things which we basically teach in our classes. It's not only teaching, it's based on exercises, as I have told you earlier as well. So we put you in certain situations in which you go through and you find out that what are the things which you are missing, what are the things which can make you think in a different manner, what are the things which can create those opportunities for you. So external sources, internal sources, and then your psychological strategies, how you change your thinking pattern, how you change how you work, how you act on certain things day in, day out, or other people do things day in, day out, and how can you change those patterns are in psychological strategies. And then you work scientifically on it for enhancing those opportunities so that they can be converted into innovations. Ali?
Thank you very much, sir. Another interesting question from Brother Moeed Al-Dahak. The question is what we will do with bureaucracy. and government policies. We are as young got disappointed with the rules and regulations to get the approvals on creative things.
Okay, this is a very common question which I come across in different classes and different master classes. The thing is that innovators, entrepreneurs, people who want to do things differently, they don't look for bureaucracies and other stuff. They try to create opportunity in the circumstances in which they are. Pursuit of opportunity beyond the resources you currently control is the definition of being entrepreneurial. And that's what, because for example, you have 50 pounds, 500 pounds, and you say, okay, I want to start a business. You will have certain ideas. Then you say, okay, I have 50,000 pounds. What kind of businesses I can start? Okay, I can start a restaurant, or I can start a beauty salon, another thing. But I cannot start a computer business in which a lot of money, £500,000 are required. Believe me, there were people who have started, in the recent example is Zuckerberg. He started Facebook with $1,000. Steve Jobs started Apple with $1,300. So in the last 20, 30 years, there are so many examples in the world where people, they started on the basis of opportunity, not on the basis of resources. But governments provide resources, and bureaucracies give you frustration because you don't have access to resources. You cannot control resources. So you have to create your own world, no matter how smaller that world is. And believe me, once you start working on it and start looking for opportunities yourself, rather than looking towards bureaucracies or governments or bigger organizations, the entrepreneurship does happen. And that's when the innovations do happen. That's when you become more creative and you create innovative products or services for yourself and for the market. I know this is a very motivational answer, but this is the truth. This is the ultimate truth. Because if you keep on looking towards governments all over the world, be it North America or the UK or Europe, these are all bureaucracies. And they take years to decide about something. But things are happening because people are doing those things. They are not looking towards them, but they are looking inside, that how they can generate opportunities, how they can create with their financial capital which they have, or they can resource from outside, human capital which they have, or they can access or mobilize from outside, or the social capital which they have and they can access and mobilize from outside. That's how people are generating wealth. That's how people are creating new things, unique things. Ali?
One last question. At a policy level, how quickly one should filter the ideas within organization, get excited about it, and move ahead in implementing?
Excellent. This is basically the topic of my sessions in Palm 7, which is called corporate entrepreneurship. When organizations become large, it is very difficult to act quickly, act swiftly. And entrepreneurship is working and acting then and there, because if you miss that opportunity window, everything is lost because somebody else has already started it. Now here in Palm 7, inshallah, we will be talking about corporate entrepreneurship, that how you can create an entrepreneurial architecture in large organizations with, let's say, 50,000 employees and $40 billion revenue. Practically, that organization becomes a bureaucratic organization. It's just like government. They work like government because you have to get permission from 20 different people for doing something. And then what those organizations should do, that they don't miss the boat. That is corporate entrepreneurship. We are going to talk about it in detail in Palm 7, inshallah. But there's a lot of material available on internet, and there are a number of books have been written and a number of people are working on it. So you can find information on corporate entrepreneurship if you can. But otherwise, you can come and join us in Palm 7 and we will be working on it, inshallah.
Well, thank you very much, sir. That really brings us towards the end of the webinar. We'd like to thank you on behalf of Madinah Institute for Leadership and Entrepreneurship Mile for giving us time and for sharing valuable information through this presentation. We are excited and we really look forward to meeting you in Madinah in the month of April for Palm 7. And all of those who participated in this webinar, thank you very much and thank you for your questions. I am illustrating the landing page of the program for Advanced Leadership and Management, Palm 7. Again, it's going to be held in Madinah will be commenced on April 17th. It's a 2 weeks program. The enrollment is open. I highly recommend to please visit and explore the content and the agenda and the program investment that is required to be a part of it or participate in it. Dr. Roomi will be there, so you'll have an opportunity to meet him along with other professors. We are bringing about top 7 business schools out of the top 10 on this program in Madinah, inshallah. So folks, we are recording this webinar, which will be uploaded on the Mile community. I've already shared the link from where you can download the presentation. With that note, I would like to once again thank you, Dr. Roomi, for your time and all of those who participated. Thank you very much. You all have a good day, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're calling from. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.